was after 2 o'clock. My partner Blair and I were on the verge of solving a murder. We were rolling the dice at this point. It was a matter of time before we knew the culprit.
It was Miss Scarlett who murdered Mr. Body. She used the revolver and shot him in the hall.
You beat me again, Detective. Too bad we don't get cases like this anymore.
You and I both know the closest case I've ever had to solve involved a cow being beaten in the rice paddy.
With the 2 porcelain figures?
Yep, our first case known as the Knick-Knack Paddywhack.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it was Farmer Brown.
Detective Jones, your sister called again.
I hope you told her I was busy.
I did, but...
Hey Raven, it's so great to see you again.
Which I could say the same.
Don't sound so disappointed. I might think you don't like me. Sorry, did I sound too obvious?
You have as good humor as any. Anyways, I need your help.
Obviously I'm busy. And do you think I really care? If you need money, I'm broke. And if you need a place to stay, we're booked.
Funny you mentioned books. I have another case for you.
Ugh, let me guess. Your pizza didn't come in 30 minutes and you want to know why?
No, and that only happened twice. Anyways, I had another party last night. We partied like we did back in the day. After everyone finally left at 8, I decided to relax in my private library. I walked over to my rare book collection and reached for my favorite book when I noticed a gap in the shelf. And that's when I noticed it was missing.
All right, I'll look for your book. You're lucky you came to the greatest detective.
Batman?
You read way too many comic books. We were on the case. My sister had given us the names of 2 suspects, both who she thinks has a love for books. First on the list was former drill sergeant Jace Tanner, who we found working as a librarian at the Manitowoc Public Library.
How are we supposed to find a former drill sergeant in a library?
Well, we wait.
Oh. Wait, what do you mean?
Keep your voices down, you maggots. This is a library.
Bingo.
Ten hut. At ease. Now, what can I do for you soldiers?
Well, actually, ma'am, I'm here to ask you a couple questions about a missing bookcase. Have a seat over here.
So what's your mission?
We're here about a case. A missing bookcase, to be exact.
Now, how did you 2 lose a bookcase?
It's a case about a missing book.
The book belongs to my sister, Jessica. She had a party 2 nights ago, one you were invited to.
All right, I'll give you the full report.
I was getting sick of the crowded party, so I decided to head to Jessica's at-home gym.
Then what? I can't see.
Well, I'm a former sergeant for a reason. Gyms are now the museums of things I once did.
So what did you do? Take a minute to smell the sweaty barbells?
Would you please continue the story?
Oh, right, well, I decided to walk around in our library. It may not look like it, but I'm a sucker for a good romance novel. I only glanced over before I left at 8.
Thank you. We'll be taking our leave now.
I hope you find the rare book you're looking for.
This case was turning out to be quite the page-turner. We were nowhere close to finding the thief. Luckily for us, our next suspect was a history teacher who often came to this exact library.
Can I help you with something?
Hello, miss. I'm Detective Raven Jones, and this is my partner, Blair Huxley. Today, we're just here to ask you a couple questions regarding a missing bookcase.
All right, let's find somewhere to sit.
Hear about a missing book?
What a curious thing to lose.
Indeed. It went missing on the night of my sister Jessica's party.
Jessica Noble?
Mhm.
I'll have you know, her and I are great friends. I'd never steal anything from her.
We're not accusing you. We just would like to know what you did before you left the party that night.
Okay, well, I have to admit the party was rather boring.
I snuck out and headed toward Jessica's private library. I made my way there and found my favorite book, History of Photography. After that, I left sometime around 8.
It was late the next morning. With the case solved thanks to the suspect spilling the ink, Blair and I awaited the arrival of my sister and the 2 suspects.
Come in.
Detective, I demand answers.
And you'll get them soon enough, Sergeant. Thank you. The missing bookcase. The time of the theft is believed to have happened on the night of the party. It took place in Jessica Noble's private library. The object missing? A rare book. The case was hard to begin with since I was never given the title. However, that didn't make the case impossible. At the start of the case, Jessica gave me the names of 2 suspects. First, the former drill sergeant, who now works as a librarian. Second, her best friend, who's not only a fan of history, but a history teacher. Now, while interviewing the former drill sergeant, we mentioned the case was about a missing book. As we left, you wished us luck in finding the missing rare book.
So it was you, Jay.
Not quite. During our questioning, Miss Foxley mentioned she found her favorite book. That book just so happens to be on the same shelf where the missing book should be.
So who was it?
The culprit is none other than Blair Huxley.
But how could it be me? I wasn't even at the party.
Indeed, you weren't.
So how would it...
I'll tell you. When Jace made her way into the library,
She was looking for a romance novel. Even though she didn't mention it during questioning, Jace had pulled a book off the shelf. That book just so happened to be the book we've been searching for. Hearing someone coming, however, she accidentally dropped the book and headed out. Next, Miss Foxley came into the library. She scanned the shelves until she found her favorite book. As she walked towards the shelf, her foot hit something on the ground. It was in fact the book Jace had dropped. Not knowing where it belonged, Miss Foxley picked it up and added it to the other books laying on the table.
I investigated all around the room. As I did, Blair got a hand cramp from writing, and she ended up putting her notebook on the table, which ended up hiding a book from view. After I accepted the case, Blair picked up her notebook. She picked up the book beneath it by mistake. Once we made it back to the office, Blair put the book with her notebook on my desk where I ended up finding it this morning. No way!
In the tip of the back of the tongue. Diction is done with the lips and the teeth and the tip of the back of the tongue. Diction is done with the lips and the tongue. You beat me again, detective. Too bad we don't get cases like this anymore.
You and I both know
Yeah, I couldn't believe it was
Dr. Brown!
Oh my god.
I'm sorry!
Detective Jones, your sister needs you. Yeah, I couldn't believe it was Farmer Brett.
Oh no. Keep your voices down, you maggots. This is a library.
Yes, my pizza didn't make it in the 30-minute time limit. I gotta redo that.
Ken Hunt.
Oh no.
The missing bookcase was finished, so, once again, I was waiting for a case to burst through the door.
Detective, we have a case!
Please, don't tell me it was Jessica. Greetings, Detective. My name is Natalie Ford, junior writer. Nice to meet you, Miss Ford. What can I do for you today? I actually have a case I'd like you to solve. Oh, really? What's it about? You see, my pizza order took longer than 30 minutes, and I was wondering if